What's up, everybody? Greetings. It's Thursday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my glasses aren't clean. I can't see through them, so I'm looking for my wiper. Chat amongst yourselves. How's everybody doing? Here it is. I knew I had it somewhere handy. For those of you who enjoy poorly organized, not thought out, confusing live streams, this one's for you. You're going to love it. Because I had a plan at the beginning of the week, and I also had COVID or something like it at the beginning of the week. The COVID thing's a little bit better, so it probably wasn't COVID. It was probably just a cold or allergies or, I don't know, being worn out. Possibly, but whatever it was, it's a bit better today. But unfortunately, the program that I had planned rather revolved around the release of a certain mystery lens. Very mysterious. Doesn't look anything like this, but it's a mystery lens, and it was supposed to come out this week. But it's not. It's coming out on the 26th of this month. So my program is kind of a little bit pointless because I'd have to redact every other word I said, which would probably not sound any different to most of you, but it could be disconcerting to others. So this will be something of a grab bag. I am open to your suggestions. We're going to begin with a piece of housekeeping, though, something that I fervently hoped I would never have to deal with on this venue, but I am going to. There are possibly a couple of people who are having a tendency to co-opt the chat, distracting from what we're trying to do here, which is possibly learn something or be entertained. It doesn't bother me. It's never really bothered me what you guys say to one another or do in the chat. Really, it's your chat. But I've been getting concerned notes from people who have been long-time supporters of the show and who are not easily ruffled, who are getting ruffled by some of the hijacking of the chat. So here's what we're doing, and I have prepared. I prepared an outline for my moderators to go by, but I didn't get it out to them in time. Ran out of time this morning, was making a video. So this is news to Amy and Alistair and Bud as well. But we're going to start using some of the tools that have been given to us by YouTube. I didn't ever want to do this, but there are some things that we can do that limit how much you may be able to share in a given period of time. It won't happen right away, and both Amy and Alistair and I need to, that's not the right word, both, is it? No, there's four of us. So we all need to get together and decide exactly when and how we're going to use these tools, but I'm just letting you know, I won't announce it again, starting with Tuesday's live stream. We're going to start cracking down on that so that everybody gets a chance to be heard, and that we aren't distracted from what we're talking about. Because today not being a good example, I usually put together a program that has a point of some kind. Mysterious, true, but a point of some kind, something I'm trying to teach you or help you understand. So it's better if we're not too distracted. Is everybody okay with that? I hope so. I'm going to say hi to some folks because I was bad about that on Tuesday. Got all caught up in what I was saying. We've got some show and tell today. But the main push today is going to be talking about a new lens release and trying to make sense of a big picture thing that has to do with high magnification macro in the field. Does that sound interesting? No? Okay, all right, well, excuse me. It sounded very interesting to me, which is why I wrote the notes that I did. And that's what we're going to be talking about in about 2 minutes. To those of you who have written in asking, is that stinger of yours long enough for you to blow your nose while it's going on? The answer is yes. It's exactly long enough for me to do a complete proper nasal cleansing. I know you were concerned about that. That's what that's for. So if you ever see that pop up in the middle of a live stream, you'll probably know why now. Probably shouldn't have said that, should I? Oh well. I've got some notes that I'm going to follow before we even get started on today's stuff. Let me say something about, hang on a sec, let me say something about that stinger. If you look at it and actually are, you know, if your brain works fast enough to look at the pictures, you'll probably look at them and say, well, that's some of your rubbish pictures at the beginning, and then when it's going really fast at the end, that's where your good pictures are. Why did you do it like that? I have no idea. It was a mistake. I meant to do it the other way around so you could see the good ones and just think that the other ones were good, which they're not. So I'm going to redo it in the other direction so that next time you see it, it will hopefully look a bit better. Now you know. Before I start, there's several people that I need to call out and thank, because it has been a month for people doing stuff that needs thanks. First and foremost, no, that sounds wrong, because they're all first and foremost, so there won't be a first and foremost. I'll begin randomly with the letter P for Patrick. Patrick has done so much in such a short period of time to get the Walls app up and running that it leaves me mind boggled. Has anybody not opened a browser and typed in www.walls, WALLS-app.com at the end, .com at the end? If you do that, it'll take you to the most miraculous place that has been put together in no time flat by Patrick. And it's a portal of sorts, if you will, to everything that this channel is about. All the exciting stuff that's going on is right there. And if it's not right there, we're working on getting it right there. But it's not just Patrick either, though Patrick dreamt this up and built it before even talking to me about it. He made it and then brought it to me and said, if you don't like it, throw it away. But other people have been involved. Bud, for example. I'm getting bongs on my phone, usually meaning that you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Tell me you can hear me. Anybody. Just one of those emojis of an ear will be good enough. I'll look there in a minute. But the other folks I want to thank are Bud for setting up the My Rig page. That's the one where you show off what you've invented, whether it's a full rig or it's some gadgety thing that goes with your rig, or even if it's nothing to do with the rig, but you use it in your photography. Like this thing that I invented this morning. And actually, I invented it a while ago, but I'm going to use this in my videos. This bit, when it's properly working, is attached to this bit, which has a phone on it, which goes back and forth and takes pictures. Yeah, it's pretty ingenious. So that's the My Rig thing, and many thanks to Bud. Thank Bud yourself when you see him, but better yet, send him some pictures of your rig and some words to go with it to tell him what it is you've made, and he will put it on the site. And that way, anybody can go there to the My Rig site, look at what people are doing, get ideas, and contact them and exchange thoughts on how to improve your setup. Also, thanks to Larry, who has single-handedly set up the 3D printing idea swap page. That's where you go. If, say, for example, you invent something. Mine might be broken, but you invent something like this. This is 3D printed yesterday. I didn't invent it. I didn't write the code to make it. And I haven't put it together yet, but it's parts for a thing that I'm making, and I'll explain more about this in a minute. I could put the plans for this over on that page of the Walls app, and then you could make one and rattle it and wonder what it's for and build it, and yeah, you'll have one just like mine. So that's what we're going to do on that page, and we couldn't have done it without Larry. I'm going to come back to what that is in just a second. I'm thinking of the other pages though. There's the competition page, and everybody is thanked for that because that's where you go to put your competition entries. For example, the entries that you want to have judged. Yes, everybody can hear loud and clear. Thank you, Laura. The place that you go to be judged by Angi is also the Walls app. So you go to the Walls app with your picture, you hand it over, they give you a receipt of some kind, I'm sure. No, they probably don't. And then you go on your way and you've entered. You can do that twice in a month. And we're talking about flowers, but they're enchanted this month. So Enchanted Flowers is the competition. Angi is the judge. I am the cheerleader. And yeah, we're halfway through the month. So have you not thought about it yet? Those of you from Norway who decided that this was the month that we were going to do this in, if you don't turn in your pictures, I'm coming to Norway to get them from you, okay? So just putting you on notice there. What other pages are there? There's the, I have one called the amputation page. I'm hoping that that is actually competition just misspelled. Because if we do, I need to make a note to self to ask Patrick to take that page down. I think it is the competition page, though. I think that's all of them. There's other pages on there. You can get to my YouTube channel. You can get to my homepage of the website. So just go look at it. It's fantastic. Walls-app.com. Once you put it in, that's the only time you have to do it. Click the little box that says put it on your home screen. Okay, enough. I can't read my notes. I'll just read what I think they say phonetically. No, I'm building something. That's right. This thing. It's one of the many things I'm building, but this one I'm not building by myself. In fact, in many respects, I'm not building it at all. It has been designed and built by somebody who knows what they're doing, and indeed by a team of people. People from Hollywood, for example, and people from television, for another example. You may know them as Mike and Chris. I know them as my friends and partners. And we're making something. And it's exciting beyond words. And in fact, it's so far beyond words, I'm not going to give you any more words about what it is. You aren't going to know from what I'm saying what this is I'm building. But they're going to come on and not talk about it. So that you'll have three people's opinion on why you should be excited about this without ever knowing what it is. That's the plan, probably sometime next week. Yeah, we'll see. Next week or the week after. They will be special guests. I'm trying to figure out how to get actual real live guests on the stream through OBS without me having a myocardial infarction, which is what happened the last 2 times I tried it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working on some stuff, and it's stuff you're going to want to see. For those of you who are waiting on the NovaFlex Micro Rail, the Castell Micro review, it is coming. I just finished the last little bit of video recording yesterday. I've been working on the edit. It's going to be a compact but very, very helpful video, I feel sure. For anybody who's interested and doesn't know if this is the rail for them, watch this video and you will know whether it's the rail for you. That's going to be coming out this weekend. It's not going to be coming out immediately, and that's because I have a big Pazoom this week, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But before we get to the Pazoom, other things I'm working on, we are doing a series of videos around the mystery lens. These are tutorials. They are how to build support mechanisms, which was the title of this video, by the way, or this live stream. Ignore that, and ignore the snake, which has nothing to do with it. I just like the picture is why I used it. But those videos are going to come out bang, bang, bang right after the 26th, because that's when you're going to need them. We're talking today peripherally about that same subject, and I'll get to that in due course. So that's all happening on the 26th, but in the meantime there are other videos that I'm making, other completely different things. For example, I am revisiting the whole LED thing. I started out my extreme macro with LEDs, with Janslow LED bendy arm lamps. And I got some decent pictures with them, and then they were no longer meeting my needs, and I switched to flash, and I've been using flash ever since. I use continuous light occasionally. I use it in videos quite a bit. I mean, to do macro photography in videos. But I've not gone back to using it as a primary light source for a lot of different reasons. There are problems with it, but many of those problems may be going away. I was introduced by a friend of mine to a couple of LED solutions that are either out or on the way out. On the way out, not meaning on the way to being no longer in, but on the way to coming out to be bought. Did that make sense? Ignore it. Ignore the last sentence. So the LED lights that I'm hoping to get my hands on some to try are called roto lights, I believe. Something like that. Router? Would that be something else? Possibly it would be. So I've been told that these are wonderful lights and worth trying, and they may be game changing. So we'll see. The other, of course, is Novaflex is bringing out a lighting solution at some point in the future. And I definitely will be looking at that closely. There are all kinds of other solutions out there. I have used them all, and you'll notice I don't use them all anymore because I wasn't happy with them for one reason or another. There's one up on the shelf, the blue shelf behind me. There's actually two of them up there. So there are a lot of these lights that have come and gone, but I think some of the new stuff that's coming out is looking very promising. Stuff that has very short duration flash speeds, which is of course crucial in what we do. So that's one of the many things that is brewing currently, but there are others. And for those of you who are pining the days of teasing apart insects on the under the microscope, that's on the way too. It's just been an incredibly busy summer with so much going on. I began this whole thing saying thank you to people, and then immediately got distracted and stopped saying thank you to people. So I'm going to go back and say thank you to people. A thank you that I just don't even really have the words for. Goes to Susan Seaford, who decided that if she was going to have to wait for me to sell all the planets on my globe, on all the countries on my globe, to raise enough money for a Z8, that she just wasn't having any of it. So she sent me one, a real one. It's not cardboard. It's metal and it works. It's a Z8. It's my Z8, actually. So, yes, that's better. I got almost an entire thought out without having to stop and pretend to have to blow my nose again. But that was one thank you. Another thank you that has to be made. You know the drill. This drill. This is a gift. And if you've gone to buy a drill of late, you'll know what a sizable gift this is. This was from Laura, who came to visit me last week, who thought that there weren't enough holes in things around here, and popped out to my favourite hardware shop and came back with a pair of drills, a brace, if you will, though I've never heard them called that before. This is the best drill I've ever owned. Bit noisy, but it's really not. It's brushless, which means, you don't have to replace the brushes on it. I could have shown you this whole thing, by the way, from on high, like this, so that you could see everything, but I didn't think to. So there you go. That's why I didn't do it. Instead, we'll go back to where we were. This was what we were going to be talking about today. We will be talking about this again, because I have finally arrived at the what I'm going to use as the final design of this. After changing a few things, getting some new hardware, and coming up with a slight change in the print, we're good to go. So, but we're not going to talk about it today. There'll be plenty of time for that later on. I'm going to say hi to some people, and then we'll get into the topic today. Gosh, I feel like I'm forgetting to show you some stuff. There's so much junk on my desk. Oh dear, what a week it has been. Oh, Novaflex, the code. People have rightly discovered that when they go to their favorite retailer and enter the code AW7, nothing happens, or people just laugh at them because that's not a code anywhere but Novaflex US. Now, I talked to Martin this morning. Several of you have reached out to me about this, and I was embarrassed to say I didn't know what the answer was. But of course, the answer is what Martin said in the interview, that your discount, which was 7%, would be good at for anything at the Novaflex US store, which is everything that Novaflex makes, and any order would get that discount. Well, people got in touch with me and said, "Hey, Alan, if we go over there, we can get a 10% discount just for going over there. There's a new member or a new purchaser discount of 10% that everybody gets." So when I told Martin about that, he was unaware of the timing of that and apologetic about it, and asked that you still go to the Novaflex US store, that you still use the code AW7, but as of this evening, I presume he meant German this evening, which is today for us, the AW7 code will get you the full 10% discount. Now that's good. So if you want to buy one quick release clamp, I'll show you one. No, I won't. I don't know why I can never have that quick release clamp on hand when I say it, but if you want to go get one of them, you'll get 10% off. If you want to go and buy 2 tripods and tripod heads and all the rails, all the bellows, and a walking stick, you can get all of that at 10% off. So it's good. It's worth it. If you are thinking about getting into that ecosystem, now's the time to do it. And thank you to Martin for correcting that and doing so quickly. Whew, that was a lot of stuff to cover in a very short period of time. There are 43 people here, which means that we're aiming for 43 thumbs up, is it? I'll have to check what people say. Let me see who's here, because it's always good to know who I'm chattering with. I see a new person. Adrian, is this your first time with us? Adrian Harvey? Your name jumped out from the list as being somebody I haven't said hello to before. But that could just be, I'm going to blame it on COVID from now on, at least for the rest of this month. So that could just have been the COVID. Julie is here in Huntsville, which is a great place. Some of the best people I know live in Huntsville, and or did live in Huntsville at one time. Demetrius is here from Greece. Greetings, my friend. And David from sunny Winthrop, Maine. Though he didn't say it was sunny, so it's probably not. Vivian is here, and he's saying hi from everybody in Ireland, which seems presumptuous on his part, unless he in fact knows everybody in Ireland, which he might. Vivian, I did something unforgivable the other day. One of the clamps that you donated for, I ran out of clamps and I used one of your clamps. I put it back in the bag and disguised it so the person that gets it will think it's new, but I did use it, and I felt honor bound to say that. Probably should have just shut up about it, but yeah, they are the best clamps of their type that I've ever seen. They are so much better than the ones I use. Vivian donated 3 sets of clamps, you know, the clamps, bendy arm clamps, the kind I put bendy arms on and articulating arms. These clamps have a big handle on them, so you can crunch it down, and it really holds. The jaws get wider too. I should show you one, shouldn't I? It's a bit careless of me not to have it handy, and I can't see. Yes, I can. No, that's one of the old ones. Not to worry, I'll find it before the day is done and I'll show it to you. But they're beautiful. They look a lot more substantial, and they've got rubber on the handles. So I'm going to be giving them away, and I think it'll probably be this month. I was going to do a lens. That reminds me of something else. The person who won the lens last month, I haven't mailed it to them yet. I'll get on that too. So yes, this month I think we'll do Vivian's clamps as a set, because you're going to use them as a set. You need, if you're going to use them, you need 2 or 3 of them, and this will be a whole set. So we'll do that as the first prize. if that's okay with Vivian. Let me know, Vivian, if that's okay with you. All right, so where was I? You're probably terribly confused. From Southend, which my sister-in-law used to live in until she no longer lived anywhere. She is also from Southend in Essex, which is over there on the North Sea, or near the North Sea. It's where the Thames spews out into the ocean. Welcome, Bacon Meister. Glad to hear you're here and doing well. From Chertsey, where it's darkening. It's not been a good month for weather in Chertsey, has it, Graham? Graham, are you going to come to the new Pazoom? There is a new Pazoom on Saturday. I am aiming for the Nobel Peace Prize, and by doing this thing of uniting Europe and North America, much the same way that pioneering aircraft flyer lady, I wrote her name down somewhere, Camelia Earache, in 1266, I believe it was, flew from Gatwick to London. A lot of people do that, but she did it and got famous for uniting the two continents. I think that's how it happened. It rings a bell. But anyway, I'm doing the same thing by moving the Pazooms, which were traditionally for several months, that is, early in the morning for Europe and then later in the afternoon for North America. I just moved them ever so gradually closer together until now they merge, so that it'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon for my European friends, which seems civilized, unless you're playing cricket that day, in which case you can probably still come because you don't do anything for about an hour at a time in cricket, so you could come to the Pazoom anyway. And it's also not too early. This is a judgment call, mind you, for my Western Shore left-sided American people. Not left-sided in a political sense, as in a physical sense, people from the left-hand side of the country. For them it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning, as opposed to 6 o'clock in the morning, which was a bit ridiculous. 8 o'clock is still ridiculous, but it's not as ridiculous. So that's it. From now on, 10 o'clock in the morning. I am sure, quite positive, that Graham is going to have something to share with us, because it's been a little while since we've had an update on his amazing device. So we'll be hopefully seeing that. I reached out to Bud to ask if he can share something with us about what he's doing with his new vertical rig, which is ridiculously robust and has remote controls and control panels on it. It's looking fantastic. He talked about it briefly at the other live stream, but the other Pazoom, but we had problems with the television thing, and we might try that again, just for a few minutes so you can see what's going on. And the rest of it is going to be up to me, and I'll have something fascinating for you by then. I'm going to interrupt myself in a couple of minutes to show you some photographs, but until we get to that, they're interesting photographs because I have a sophomoric sense of humor. And when I discovered that I was looking at something that was pretending to be a poo, I just had to share it with you. But we'll get to that in a minute. I shared it at a camera club meeting last night, and they found it entertaining, which is good. So let me see. Robert is here from Ocala, Florida, and he hopes I'm feeling better. I think I am. But I thought that yesterday until evening time, at which point I decided I definitely wasn't feeling better. So it appears to be on a diurnal rhythm of sorts. Enough of that. Let me see. And by the way, Vivian says the Walls app is rocking, or words to that effect. And he's right, it is. You've got to see it. If you haven't used it yet, you've got to. Even if phone apps cause you to break out in hives, as they used to with me, do it anyway, because you'll be glad you did. It's just an easier way to be part of the in crowd, and it's the only way that you're going to be able to communicate with me in the future. I've mentioned that before, but I'll mention it again. If you have an email ready to go to me, don't send it. It will go into the ether and never be seen again. But that really goes for any email that's been sent to me in the last year, probably ended up in the same place. Message me, and if it's important, I'll get to it. If it can be answered elsewise, it shall be. But yeah, that's it. Get the app, walls-app.com. So, Walter asks if I'm feeling better. I refer Walter to my last answer, but yes, I am. Thank you, sir. Feeling quite a bit better than I was before. And it's amazing how many people ask you that if you're feeling better when you're feeling ill. It gives me hope for the future. Hembrodian's here from the north of England, where it is tonight, as it always is when it's 2 o'clock here. And Ingolf Kuntz is here from Germany, and greetings. I've been talking to a lot of German friends of late. I was in Germany just this morning to chat. Ian Wilkinson is here from South Devon, not Dorset. I keep getting the two mixed up. Devon is clotted cream, which is revolting in my opinion. Dorset is the Lulworth Cove, which I love, and Scrumpy, which I love. That might be Dorset too, though. Did I get that one right, or close to it? It's complicated. Susan is here, and she says hello from everybody in America, which is even better than everybody in Northern Ireland, I'd have to say. Susan, the camera is something else to behold. I'm just trying to figure out how to charge the batteries. And yeah, and then I'm going to be out with it this weekend. FTZ adapter on my Tamron lens works like a dream. And yeah, fantastic. Oh, cannot wait. There's going to be a whole plethora of pictures showing up in all of the things I do here. You know, I haven't been getting out very much. I'm going to show you this picture because it's fun. So what I do is when I have a video coming up that I need something visual to show you, oftentimes I have only enough time to grab my camera from here on my desk and go there. Shall I show you where? Exactly where I'm talking about when I point over there? Let me get my other camera thing, my other visual aid producer. Right, you see that glass thing over there? That's a window, and outside of there is a plant. It's my only plant that lives because it's an evergreen plant, meaning I can't kill it very easily. And I go out there with the camera and I look for things on the plant to photograph. And as soon as I have 2 or 3 things that I can photograph, that becomes my visual aids for the video, if I need them. Maybe it's just at the end of the video where I show a picture. Well, I was out there and there was nothing to photograph because it was 208 degrees Fahrenheit or Kelvin or something, and yeah, the plants were melting. There was nothing on them, and I was so desperate for an image that I took what I thought was a very nice picture of a smear of bird poop right here. I thought, well, that's better than nothing. I can at least make a joke about bird poop. So I came back in. I did get some other pictures. None of them were any good. For example, there was a butterfly which I turned out to call the wrong thing. I called it, hang on, I'm getting it on the correct screen. You know what? I'm just going to switch screens. Would be even easier. But my pointer is in too many places at the same time. There you go. So this I thought was a nice example of a Gulf fritillary, being the only other butterfly I know the name of, and it's not. It's what did you guys call it? It's that monarch. Yeah. So it's a monarch butterfly. Took a picture of that. Thought that would be good at the end of the video. What else did I find? Let me see. I'm gonna have to pull this window over as well. The other thing, oh dear, you can't see this, but on the other screen I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. I discovered, what is this? Oh yeah, these things that grow on oak leaves. I took pictures of them too. I didn't realize there was a weevil hiding, not even hiding very well, in plain sight, and I missed him completely. But when I came back in and looked at the pictures, I realized that dollop of bird dropping wasn't. What was it, you wonder? Well, it was this. It was 2 moths in flagrante delicto. Look at that. They are absolutely beautiful. They're hairy moths. They look like webworm moths, or gosh, what else could they possibly be? Webworms was the first thing that came to mind, but there's another. There's another species that. Does anybody know what they are? That would be a better way to ask it. I jotted them down, but can't find my notes. There are a few moths in the south here that have this hairy thorax and these lovely sweeping antennae that when they're mating, they do in fact stick to a leaf like this and spread out their wings so that they look like a runny dollop of bird dropping, which I came up with a lot of different names for the picture, all of which are inappropriate for a mixed audience, a mixed company. But yeah, they gave me hours of pleasure to look at these amazing things. Well, I went out to photograph them again and they were gone. So if you see a flying pile of, well anyway, they were gone. Do you want to see any of the other ones? Probably not. You've probably seen quite enough. Like there was a tiny little baby weevil climbing on a magnolia leaf. I ended up with more than I needed for quite an interesting selection. One other one I'll show you. That's a skipper, and I love those little butterflies. They're very common around here, and the color of this one was perfect with the little lantana flowers that it was on. So yeah, it was not bad, not a bad afternoon at all. So I have completely and utterly forgotten what I was doing. I think probably I was saying hello to people. Yeah, probably what I was doing, because I only got through about 3% of you. So let me hurry up and do that. There's a thing saying now would be a good time to insert ads. I'm not going to do that either. Never have. Don't think I ever will, because it would interrupt the flow of things, wouldn't it? So far we have how many likes? None? Okay, well that's useful information to have, I suppose. Let me see, where was I? So I was saying hi to Ingolf and Susan and Ian, and correcting my misunderstanding of Devon and Dorset. And Anna is here from Athens in Greece. Welcome. And Larry, appreciate what you're doing, sir. And I did write to you, by the way, about, and I think you wrote back, but I haven't read it, so I will stop there. Alistair's here. Good evening, sir. I have an email on its way to you. And Nils, greetings in Norway. I am feeling better. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope that you have your pictures ready for the competition, because this is a Norway-based competition. And you can tell Harold that. He's sitting right next to you on the left. Harold, greetings. It's snowing soon. I am not accepting snowing as an excuse. And what do you mean you didn't get your email? You got the email and I sent you the plans as requested, the button code. I promise I did a week and a half ago. I will look into that today and send it again. I sent it to the email you sent me. I feel sure. Maybe I sent it to the wrong Harold. Are there more than one HARALADs in Norway? I do hope not, because somebody's got buttons they don't need. I will get to that, I promise. Phil from Cambria, California. And yep, I am in fact on the mend and raring to go. Alistair, these are messages from a bit earlier. Adrian, so you're a Brit in Abu Dhabi, then we definitely haven't met, because I'd have remembered that. So welcome, do come back. I'm not always this disorganized. Actually, I am always this disorganized. So there's that. The snake is a good reason for a 200mm macro lens. No, the snake is a good reason for a 500mm lens. That was the most easily irritated cottonmouth I have seen, and I photograph them all the time. I love those snakes. They're very, they're full of expression. They do this thing with their mouth. It's quite scary. This guy was striking at me from that little blob of water down by the boardwalk, and yeah, I would have been happy a lot further back than I was with a 90mm lens, that's for sure. But they are beautiful, aren't they? Gorgeous, gorgeous snakes. Haven't been out to photograph them in a good long while. That was one of the things that Laura did when she lived down here. She would be my snake spotter. She could see them, I couldn't. So she'd see them and point me at them. Very good. All right, so Nastavnik, you came back. That's a good sign. Thank you, and good to have you here. Managed to see the live twice in a row. Great. Well, excellent. That gives you something to do in France, I suppose. France is a great country, by the way. Love the food there. Fantastic. Klaus Galoy is here from Redmond, Washington. Greetings, my friend. And Peter Nagy, happy, joy. Thank goodness. I was so worried on Tuesday where all we got was a hello. So it's good to know that that particular part of Tennessee is treating you nicely. That is Tennessee, isn't it? Yeah, Knoxville. Yeah. My memory's coming back. All right, let me see. Who else have I forgotten to say hi to? Laura. I said thank you, but not hi. Greetings. 75 degrees in Peoria, Illinois today. Gosh, I wish it was that temperature in America somewhere. But no, it's still hot here. Boiling, actually. So, Robert, greetings. Robert, I got your message. I have acted upon it and will be getting back to you. I promise. So, I had a question on Discord, says Nastavnik, regarding the month's contest. Okay, there is no month's contest ever again on Discord. That will be taken down as soon as I figure out how to do it. Not Discord. I won't take Discord down. I'll take the competition area down. It's because all the competition photographs now need to go through walls-app.com. I'll do something very high-tech. I'm going to write that down and then show it to you so that you'll know what to write. If you write this down, I put an accidental dot where I shouldn't. walls-app.com. Don't look at the top part, just look at the bottom part. There you go. And that dash is a dash, not an underscore. Put that in, and one of the pages there is the competition. Click on that. It'll take you to the competition. It'll give you instructions for exactly how to submit your photograph, and that's all you have to do. Don't worry if it looks squashed. That is normal. When I see it, it will be unsquashed. And just follow the directions because they're all in there. And I'm not going to say anything else that might confuse matters. So ignore Discord, not completely, but for the competition. And use my site. There, done. And I'm guessing that probably Alistair's already answered that. Angi is here. Angi thinks you're lovely people, which is good. Angi's also going to be judging your photographs, which is a little scarier because she's strict. So she has already given me a list of things that she's going to grade you on when you turn in your pictures. In the program description that will come out with this video, at the bottom of the video is a list of those things that Angi's looking at. So if you haven't done your picture yet, Norway people, Norwegians as you're known, read that list so that you can get it right. Because if a Norwegian doesn't win this, I'll be sorely disappointed in the whole Scandinavia experiment. I really will. Okay, so we were now in Detroit with Joseph, and yes, Alistair then answers the question on the Discord thing after the live stream and answer what he can. I think we probably covered it. David Green. Oh, the Predator, the alien. Was everybody there on Tuesday? Because if you were, I don't want to bore you with this, but I really would like to show it to you one more time. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show it to you one more time. Story first, very brief. I was sitting here in my office, 2 o'clock in the morning, one day last week, middle of the week. Heard a strange noise outside my window, hopped up and looked out the window and saw this that I'm going to show you. I took 3 photographs of it before running away and hiding under my bed in my locked bedroom. I want to know what it is, and nobody has been able to shed any light on it whatsoever. So let me get the picture up here. If I can find it, you know what? I might have to look for it because it's not where I put it. Oh, that would be disappointing after all that lead up to it. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it while I'm talking here. I wish I could remember what I called it. Laura, did I not send a copy of it to you? That would... oh, you know what? It'll probably be in Lightroom. So just chat amongst yourselves as if nothing was happening, and I will find this, and I will show it to you as soon as I have it on the screen. It's it was, I don't know what it is, but it scared me to death to see it, not knowing what it was, and nobody's been able to tell me what it is. So as soon as no, I don't remember where I put it. This is so embarrassing. There's a picture of me without my beard. You don't want to see that. That's even more terrifying. And yeah, it's completely gone. I wonder what I did with it. Seriously, chat amongst yourselves, because this is going to drive me crazy until I find it. No, I wouldn't put you through that. I'll post it somewhere. No. Nope. Oh, Laura, do me a favor. If you can find the email, tell me what I called, what the name of those pictures were, so I can find them. And yeah, I'll do the same thing, actually. No, I won't. I've got too many emails. I'll never find it in there. So let's get to the point of today's discussion. It's going to be it's superficial, but I was doing something today that caused me to think about this subject and how I would answer this subject. I won't tell you what it is, because it will actually end up being something you see on the channel. But it's this. Why do we not take pictures at magnification in the field? We do it with regularity in the studio, and we build setups. Even when we're fairly new to photography, we're doing stuff with objectives on the 5 and 10x level, and we're doing it in the kitchen, on the kitchen table, and we're getting some decent pictures. But why do we never drag all of that stuff outdoors and try photographing the subjects of the right scale with that type of equipment? And really, it occurred to me, it really does just come down to equipment, because we don't have a lens that lends itself to what we're trying to do. We have lenses that are fantastic for taking out in the field, focusing on living subjects that may or may not be moving, and shooting rapid succession of shots. Fantastic. We can even focus stack with lenses like this if we're careful and have a plan for doing so. But when we're shooting stacks of dozens or hundreds of images, and we're using a microscope objective on a bellows with some extension tubes containing a relay lens on a camera, the whole thing on a rail, that rail on another rail to move it to take the pictures, that requires power to operate, you end up with a rig the size of one of my rigs, which would fill a dining room table. Taking that outdoors and spontaneously photographing things is kind of crazy idea. I mean, it can be done, and we all know people who've done it, but it's not any fun, and the chances of you getting any pictures aren't very good. But this ties into the mystery lens, because the mystery lens, which I can't say much about, but it's actually not a single lens. It's a group of lenses. And they come in a set of different configurations, from a lower magnification to a higher magnification. And it occurred to me this last week that there really is no reason that the lower magnification setup of the mystery lens would not in fact lend itself to smashing that barrier that has existed for so long. Because when I list the criteria that I would want in a lens that I was going to try to, let's say for example, this bird poop insect. If I wanted to photograph that antenna, I probably would choose a 10x objective. And it occurred to me that I actually have everything I need to be able to do that in the field. And all I'd have to deal with would be some environmental stuff that is controllable. Some of it is. It wasn't the day I did it because of actual problems like wind. And I've got some pictures I can show you. of what I'm talking about. But first, let me describe what that piece of equipment that we don't have is that we need. And it's a microscope objective that is more like a camera lens. It needs to fit into a space like a camera lens would. In other words, it can't be 3 feet long and ungainly. It has to be compact enough to where it doesn't become a vibration monster. Because of the fact that we're out in the field with a camera, we really want something that doesn't need a rail to support it. It doesn't need another lens to make it work. Maybe something that has a long working distance would be very handy. How about a controllable aperture? Something that you could adjust the depth of field a little bit, or possibly adjust the light a little bit. Something that was bright enough that you could actually see the shot that you were trying to frame. All of these things have not existed traditionally with a 10x Mitutoyo on an ITL 200 on a 3-foot long rig that's supported by 6 clamps and a rail. It's just impractical, and it wouldn't be any fun. But if all of that other stuff was packaged into something small, fairly light, not too top heavy, that could all fit on the camera without any kind of an indexing rail, and then if that camera could be operated with a standard stepping device like a Castell Micro, why could you not take pictures at 10x, creative pictures, good pictures, in the field? Well, I think that the answer to that is you could. You absolutely could. So I set out to do that when I had the luxury of having Laura here with me to help actually film the thing, because I couldn't do the filming of it and the actual doing of it. So yeah, I took the lens that you're going to have to pretend there is no lens on this camera, because I'm not allowed to show it to you yet, but I'm going to show you a few pictures just so you can see what I'm talking about. We went down to the bay, which is just down the road from me, and it's a lovely piece of water, but it's not particularly sheltered when the wind's coming off the Atlantic Ocean. What's that big thing of water near me? Gulf of Mexico. When it's coming up the bay, it tends to be blowy down there. Not blowy like in Ayrshire or on the east coast of Scotland. It's more like just mildly blowy. But at 10 times magnification, mildly blowy is a lot of blowy. So what we did was we set up in what looked like a fairly, this is you, by the way, this is your performance, and you're doing very well. But let me see, let me get these pictures up. So what I did was I set up a device you're well familiar with, a Castell Micro, like so, in the field, and got it set up on my tripod, which is a nice tripod. It's solid enough for this, and it has a nice 3-way gear head on it. And maybe I could make that a bigger picture without destroying everything. Let me see. Yeah, well, there you go. I'll spread it out a bit. Okie dokie. That's better. And then, set that up and put a little bit of camera action on it. You don't look too closely at this area, but this is a 10 times setup. It's an infinity corrected microscope objective of sorts, but I'm not going to say anything else about it. But it actually ended up fitting quite nicely on this rail with a D850, plenty of working distance, on the order of 20 millimeters at that magnification. And were it not for the fact that everything, including me, was vibrating in the wind, I think that this would have been a very acceptable way to gather some pictures. As it turns out, what I did was I got pictures of a leaf, and I think I got some pictures of a spider. No, the spider went away. It was an assassin bug, something like that. There he is. But yeah, it was not very successful because of the weather, but it was very successful to find out that it is really as easy as using a camera lens. Now, it still involves using a camera lens that you don't have camera control over like you would something like this. I mean, it'd be much the same as using a reversed enlarger lens. You'd have to still set your aperture manually, and you'd have to take your time, and you do have to be attentive to detail when you're doing this. The setup took me all of 5 minutes, if that. I mean, it was very, very simple, because at that lower magnification, this lens doesn't require an index rail. At the kind of magnification I use it with in the studio, yeah, it requires a whole series of these to hold it straight and level. But at 10 times magnification, if, for example, it went down to 10, then it wouldn't be anything like this big, and it would look a whole lot more like a camera lens and would behave that way. So that's kind of what I wanted to tease you guys with. I am going to be teasing the rest of the world with a video that makes this same point, that I will possibly be coming out as early as today. That's what I was filming this morning. But it makes the same point that we've been talking a lot about this mystery lens, especially in my Patreon group where I had permission to talk about it in more detail. We've been focusing a lot on the high magnification part, because that's the exciting part. That's the thrilling part. That's the part that people are attracted to this system because of the 50 times magnification capability. But the fact of the matter is, it presents us with a 10 times magnification possibility that doesn't exist anywhere else. There is no other way that you can do this in a diffraction favorable kind of situation. Yeah, you could push all kinds of other lenses to 6, 8, 10x and get terrible pictures. But this thing's made to operate at that magnification. So I think it's very exciting, and I want to tease that as a concept before the release of, if it were that lens, before the release of that mystery lens. So keep an eye out for that, and tell me what you think. Do you think that this represents something entirely new, like I do, or am I missing the point? I think it does. I mean, this is a different approach, and in order for this to exist, the whole concept of how infinity corrected optics are designed had to be accomplished. And while I haven't been able to talk about this openly yet, you will hear a lot about this on the 26th, because that may be what has happened here. That by reconfiguring the optical elements in a series of lenses, the same thing can be accomplished that we have traditionally accomplished only through infinity corrected microscope objectives, i.e. a microscope. What if we took the technology and put it in a camera lens instead? What if? Yeah, that's it. What if? But I wish I could have come back from that little trip to the windy beach with at least one picture to show you. But the elements are going to be an issue no matter what you're shooting 10 times magnification with. Let me get back to the page and make sure that I haven't missed any important messages. Let me see. Yes, I've missed hundreds of them. Let me see. Where was I? I was in Detroit, and then there was here is another new person. You know, I don't keep count or anything, but this would be the 7th new person this week. There should be a prize for being that. Tanaporn Chupanya. Is that about correct? What is your preferred way of carrying camera gear in the field? Having somebody else do it is my preferred way. Seldom do I get to use that, so I have to, in fact, use my own self to do it. I use, depending on how far I'm going from the car. I have a car, and I go to the roughly where I'm going in that way, so I don't have to carry this stuff 20 miles. But when I'm going on my hike or my walk, if I'm going to be gone for less than half a day, I try to carry a camera and whatever lenses, usually 2 lenses, a macro lens and either a normal lens of 50 or sometimes a 70 to 200. I carry that in a separate bag over my shoulder. I carry my tripod on my back, my camera on a sling in front, and then almost everything else I need goes in pockets. I have trousers with ridiculous amounts of pockets in them, and I stuff them with everything I need, including lots of water. The cutoff is if I'm going more than a couple of miles down the trail out into the woods, or if I'm going to be gone for the day, then I take a backpack. And the backpack has everything attached to the outside of it as well as everything that goes inside of it, and it's heavy. I use a big 450 trillion gallon backpack from I forget their name, but it's a big ballistic backpack. It's called 450 something or other. That's how I carry my stuff in the field. But most of the time, when I'm just going out in the woods locally to take a picture or 10, I go out with the bare minimum that I am going to use: a camera and a lens sometimes, not even a strap, because that's how I prefer to go, is as light as possible. It's a great question, but the answer is it depends on what you're photographing. Thanks for coming. Thanks for asking the question. Come back. Twice a week we do this, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a different time, 8 o'clock at night on Tuesday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, and I will always stop to answer your questions. So please do come back and ask again. Terry, regarding the Novaflex discount note you sent earlier today, just check the Novaflex website and the Castel M will not be available until after their discount expires. No, that is what the point I was making. Your discount will count when you place the order. When the rail is delivered, it is independent of that. And Martin was specific about that in the email he just sent me right before this live stream started. So you are good to order it. The fact that they won't run it on your card until after the discount is finished doesn't matter. It's good if you order it now. So if you have any trouble, get in touch with me and I will contact Martin directly. But that is my understanding. All right. Let me see. I hope that answers it. Jim is here from Washington, and I missed that earlier on. Okay. Navastnik, should I call you that or should I call you Pablo? You tell me. I'll go with whatever you want, and I probably won't remember it until next week, so you may have to tell me again. Let me see. Everybody's hearing 5x9. Yep, can hear you loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear. Small Stuff, who came up with some really creative stuff last time, has been doing a little bit of UV flower photography. I, for one, look forward to seeing that, Small Stuff. I rather enjoy UV. You mean the UV IVF, UV excited, what is it? You know what I mean, where you shine a UV light on it, not where you're lighting it with UV light itself. I don't know. One of the two, probably. Okay, so 01 Alterman is back from Germany, or back with us from Germany. Greetings. And Art Wagner's here from Massachusetts. I tell you, Pablo is then asking Small Stuff about what kind of UV photography they're doing. We haven't really talked about that. I don't like UV photography where you are using filters and you are photographing using UV energy as the light source. You're recording the UV energy on your sensor, so everything kind of looks weird black and white grayscale stuff. In portraits, it shows up all of these skin things. I don't think I'd look very good in UV. Is probably why I don't like it. But the UV excited ultraviolet fluorescence photography I'm talking about is where you take something that fluoresces like a scorpion, and you shine a UV light on it, and then take a picture of it with a light camera, so that what you're recording is the reflected actual full spectrum light that's coming back off the fluorescing subject. You understand? No? Okay, all right, we'll move on then. Demetrius, could you kindly suggest the address of that rig page? walls-app.com, and then enter, and then scroll down till you come to the one that says My Rig, and you are there. That's it. It probably has an address of its own, but I don't know what that is. Maybe Patrick would know, seeing as he invented it. But that's how you'll get to it. Get to it, look at it, send us your pictures. There will be instructions on there how to do that. And I think that Bud and myself and Patrick are going to be getting together, possibly with Larry too, sometime in the next week to talk about all these things, just to fine-tune things to make sure they're working well. Okay, so we were down to, and look, there you go. Alistair turns around and gives the website right away. So I really ought to just leave it to you guys. You're doing such a good job. And then Small Stuff says she really doesn't do real UV photography. Indeed, that is the modified camera type that is kind of dangerous too, from what I understand. But anyway, it's all good stuff, and we will talk about that in a future go-around. And there's information on how to get to the Walls app. Yes. Angi has noticed that Susan is a beautiful soul, and yeah, I agree. There you go. There's nothing more photogenic than that was Joseph saying there's nothing that's photogenic if it's more than 500 feet from his car. That I understand. I'm with you on that, especially in this heat. Oh dear. Ian Wilkinson. Site not responding message. Oh dearie me. Okay. I'm not sure what that was, but I know that Patrick will have seen that and has probably already fixed it, whatever it was. So I'm sorry about that if you had a problem. I know it's browser specific because these are web apps. Then it's not an actual app you install; it's a web app, which is why I don't have a lot of content on it, because yeah, you can't on a web app. You just have links. Anyway, you know all that. Okay, Marilyn Giannuzzi is here from Ohio. It's a good Hawaiian, a good Ohioan name, that. Welcome, glad you're here, and please come back. Let me see. What about a photographer's vest with lots of pockets? I have one, but I look a bit ridiculous in it. I don't look like a photographer. I look like an ice cream salesman. And people point at me. Yeah, I got it at a thrift shop, which is where I get most things, and it does look mildly ridiculous. If you would like one, I have one that you can have, but you probably will look a bit ridiculous in it too. Let me know. I mean, it's just a stamp away from and getting it to you. I'll never wear it. Not since those children laughed at me. Okay, so let me see. A single lens plus a set of extension tubes, so that isn't applicable. Okay, that's Baconmeister responding to an earlier comment from Proud Liberal. If some company in the future was selling a set of high magnification lenses as a group, might they be willing to sell an individual lens, hypothetically? You know what? Baconmeister's answer is strange, not strangely, is quite apt in that if that were the case, that they were selling it, it's very probable that there would be one particular part of the system that would that would fit with four other parts to make these 4 different lenses. And if that were the case, it would probably be because the thing that had been invented, the one part, would be the expensive part. And the other 4 parts would be the correction for that. That would be a guess, just a theory. So it would mean that there would be very little advantage to buying just the one lens, because that's the expensive part. The other 4 lenses are not the expensive part. They're not quite just extension tubes, mind you. They have optics in them, and they wouldn't work independent of one another. But I see your point. Let's ask. When the thing is released, if it were like this, then we could ask that of the person that invented it, Mr. Cannon, and we could ask him what he thinks. Okay, all right. Let me see. I've got to rush through. Oh my God, we're 10 minutes after. I've gone over. Don't be alarmed. Just give me a like on the way out, and all will be well. We covered an awful lot of stuff. What will be next month's competition, so people can prepare? I can't tell you that. I don't know. I have to know that to tell you what it is, and I don't think that far in advance. Who has an idea for a competition? Give me an idea. If I like it, that'll be the thing, and I'll tell you about it next time. Alistair, I need to think about that some more. Give me some ideas, everybody. Come up with a competition. I won't let you win just because you come up with a competition, but it will be fun to think of one. Okay, Enchanted Flowers, and Alistair's got the site listed there. And Small Stuff is a guy. Okay, did somebody say that you weren't? Did I say that you weren't? I didn't. Yeah, I do that all the time. That was a big thing with Vivian, who also is a guy. So yeah, forgive me if I did that. If that's the worst thing I do today, it's gonna be a good day. Okay, and you know what? We're at the end of time. We're at the end of the messages, and Ian's chat comment has now disappeared. Blimey! I don't know. Did I answer it before it disappeared? If not, we'll do it next time. I'll get to it next time. Come 2 seconds early, and you'll get your question answered first. Okay. The competition will the past competitions be moved from Discord to the Walls app? That is a great question. I'll ask Patrick, because he will know. Probably not, because that would involve a lot of content. You know what I might do? I'll move the past competition results to my website. That has the bandwidth for it. Yeah, good plan. I'll do that, and I'll get that all organized, and I'll announce it hopefully next week. Okay, guys, this has been great fun. Thanks for putting up with the all over the place thing today. It was just this week has been difficult, but it's nearly at an end. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week, and we have exciting stuff coming your way. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to take some pictures right now. See you later. Take care.